Beijing for the foreigners, and welcome to Beijing also for those that come from this place. The next session is about a new project that the European Commission has extended to EU partners and Chinese partners. It's called EU-China Future Internet and Current Internet Collaboration, and also advance the work between Europe and the Chinese partners, but primarily to be a networking place to put EU researchers and Chinese researchers to work together in the future on multiple projects. So this would be a kind of incubator project between EU and China. And I think this is a very important opportunity to have wider researchers talk to each other and to win, also to propose new projects in the future. So for this session we have a parity between EU and China. So we have two speakers from Europe and two from China. And the first one is Martin Potts, who is very famous in Europe, and most of the time he's the leading figure in all new technologies, with his in a very diplomatic way of getting people to talk to each other. And he is the coordinator of this EU-China collaboration, which we call in Europe FIRE concept, which is like in the US, Genie, or now also in China, Cassini. And he will present to us what this project is about. And then comes Philippe Cousin, who is the technical manager of this project. We will go into a kind of work that needs to be done in order to get this collaboration between Europe and China. And then we will present the Chinese partners afterwards. Martin.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My pleasure and my privilege to present you the FIRE initiative from the European Union, from which the new Shell project is one of the new projects in this initiative. My presentation will follow the following steps. I will tell you a little bit about what FIRE is, Future Internet Research and Experimentation, why it's needed, how it functions, the current hot topics that we're looking at in Europe, which I think are very similar to the ones we looked at in China, and then a view into the future, a first look at what the first proposals will be in 2014, and one slide on the collaboration with China, which will be followed up by Philippe and the other speakers later. So what is FIRE? Why is it needed? We heard from the note you see in this presentation that everything is becoming connected. It means there's becoming a wealth of data from the Internet of Things. It means there are new technologies coming up, like clouds, like software-defined networks, like 5G. It means that there's more flexibility in the network. We're looking at service-based business models. All these are challenges which the future Internet is to address. From this, though, there are opportunities. We have the opportunities to deliver tailored services to citizens. We have the opportunities to reduce costs, to reduce carbon emissions, to reduce the energy footprint. And we have the opportunities to take the lead in this new future service economy. The problem with the current internet, or some of the problems with the current internet are highlighted on this slide, and this is the reason why we need research in many of these areas of the future internet. The address range for the internet is exhausted. Mobility is ever more important. The global scale of the internet, the data deluge, all this information coming from Internet of Things, coming from peer-to-peer applications, coming from Web 2 applications, coming from 3D video technologies. There's a heterogeneity of devices. The Internet of Things will generate more data for us to handle, for us to analyze. Security and trust, we had presentations in the previous session on security and trust issues. We need to offer quality of service for voice, for video, especially on shared media, and especially when mobile is very strong challenges that we need to address. The complexity of network management. So these are all topics that need researching, and these are all topics that are being researched through FIRE. If we look at how FIRE operates, which is probably different in Europe than we do it in China, but we have two main focuses. One is on the research side of the circle, advanced research. And the other side is on test beds. So the other side is that we're building test beds on which we can validate the research that's been performed through the other projects. So we have two sets of projects, one on the research, one on the test beds on which we test and validate the research. This is shown in this diagram. Researchers are looking at requirements, they're looking at doing research, they're looking at validating them on the test beds, and then they're looking at doing large-scale experiments. The other side of the circle, if you like, of the equal building the test beds, these are projects that that are funded to build one test bed, but out of the components of test beds. Generally 3 or 4 test beds across Europe come together to form one project. And on these test beds, they do experiments. What we're leading towards now is connecting these test beds together, or federating these test beds, which is also an idea that you're following China as well. How are the projects selected in FIRE? It's very much a bottom approach. The projects are defined by ourselves, by the community. The topics are identified by the researchers inside the community. There is generally a yearly call for proposals issued by the European Commission, and these are evaluated independently. So typically, there's something like 15 million euros for research projects. So a research project might be 1.5 million, so about 10 research projects each year are funded. Something like 8 million for testbed projects. Obviously, the testbed projects are bigger, so 2 testbed projects out of 8 million euros. And as I mentioned, each of these projects comprises probably 3 or 4 individual testbeds. And there's 1 million for coordinated and support actions, of which the e-shell is really presented later. This is one piece of it. There's also the opportunity for partners to get involved in these projects through what we call open calls. This means the testbed projects have a certain amount of funding reserved for their own calls. They can issue calls for the technologies that they feel are missing from their testbeds, or for extending their testbeds through geographical and adding a new testbed to a scenario project. And then a new idea coming up is this open access, where in fact the testbeds just offer their services for free, and they see which experimenters would like to use their testbeds for free. The current topics, and I think there's many similarities here between what's being looked at in Europe and what's being looked at in China. These are the current testbed projects. Ophelia, looking at software-defined networks, and particularly OpenFlow. Bonfire, looking at cloud services. Smart Santander, looking at Internet of Things. They're implementing 20,000 sensors in the city of Santander in Spain, offering part of the network is for their own city use, and part of the network is open for experiment. Crew, looking at cognitive radio. Very media, looking at social networking and mobile multimedia. OpenLab, looking at experimental flame middleware. And an important one to notice is the Petrifier, the one on the bottom of the list. Petrifier is one of the new ones that started, and this is looking at federating testbeds. And as the testbeds in the upper part of the slide start to finish, many of the individual testbeds will come into the Petrifier project and be federated inside the Petrifier. If you go to the website, the ICT-FIRE.eu website, you will see a list of all the current projects. I know it's not too easy to see, but the ones in the dark text are the test beds, and the ones in the light text are the research projects that are working or doing their experiments on those test beds. And you see around the outside the topics that we're working on at the moment. So wireless technologies, content-centric networking, network management, clouds, Internet of Things, network protocols, and cognitive mechanisms. So these are the general topics that we're working on at the moment inside the FIRE initiative. And yes, if you go to the website, you can find more information about any of these projects by clicking on those. FIRE in the future. This is the very draft information coming out of the Horizon 2020 documentation as it is at the moment. But it looks like the concept will be unchanged. There will still be this two parts of the equation, one for the research and experimentation topics, one for the test beds on which the researchers will do their experiments. The idea is to tend towards an experimentation as a service, so that all the test beds will be available to the researchers as a service. The test beds and the facilities will be controlled, they will be replicable, and this mechanism of the open calls will still be continued as well. Personally, I like the mechanism of open calls. It means that projects can adapt throughout the lifetime of the project. When the project starts, it was probably defined 2 years before the project started, but an open call gives them the chance to modify their test bed or modify their facilities as the project progresses. Some small changes. The focus will be applied more and more onto small, medium enterprises and innovators. There's a trend to use the JL network, which is CERNet in China. So they trying to use the facilities from JL to federate the test beds. And there's going to be an emphasis, more of an emphasis on the integration of real-world devices, so tending more towards real services rather than experimentation just for the sake of research. The topic areas look very similar. I think these will evolve as the program evolves, but the topics are still probably the topics that we would have identified today, that the mobile and wireless and cloud computing, wireless spectrum, photonics, Internet of Things. So it's the same topics that I think are hot topics both in Europe and in China. The budget for the first call will be launched anytime now, with the deadline for proposals around the end of the first quarter in 2014. All these proposals are open for Chinese organisations, the same as for European organisations, and there's a budget of around 32 million if the draft version continues to be ratified. Collaboration with China, and this will be mentioned in more detail in the next presentations, but I see two areas. We recognise that there are very similar test beds in China to what we have in Europe. This list here is definitely not exhaustive. There are certainly more than these, but these are the ones that we know. And you can see the connection there via Géant, which gives you a physical connectivity to European test beds. So there's very similar test beds to what we have in Europe. So there's no reason why we couldn't do, by European experimenters couldn't do research on Chinese test beds or the other way around. And then, say the second opportunity for collaboration is Ishao project. And this will be presented next. It's a 2-year project specifically set up to facilitate and to encourage European and China collaboration. And the website you see here will be set up, if not already in the next few days. The website will be active. Then thank you for your attention, and there's a couple of extra websites that you can look at for more information.
Thank you. We will have a session afterwards talking to each other. I'd like to ask Philip who's to join us. Philip, if you don't know him, is the guru of interoperability. And interoperability is a fundamental piece to validate the standards. So if somebody doesn't want to participate into interoperability, it means he has a proprietary solution. And this guy is the killer of the proprietary solutions. And for this purpose, he is leading this project now to get some interoperability between Europe and China. Good.
Thank you, Latif, and good morning, and also an honor to present this project. Martin has set up the scene about the strategy and what we try, and this great is one of the good answers about the tools for cooperation between the EU and China. And it's great Ishao because also when in Europe the CIAO, like Italian pronounce Xiao, and also Xiao is also a bridge in Chinese that the aim is to develop a bridge between EU and China on the future internet. As already Martin mentioned, this 2-year project, so we just start and we have to kick off this week. It provides support for future internet and also the internet as an important pillar. And we have basically rather balanced number of partners. We have 7 partners, 4 from Europe and 3 from China. And the aim also of the partners is also to provide also to facilitate the interconnection with other let's say stakeholders in Europe and as well as in China. It's not because we have only these 3 Chinese partners that we are limited to these partners. We expect to also involve more stakeholders. We have basically three main actions in this project. We have thought to strengthen joint efforts for future internet with developing interoperable solution and common standards, which are very important because standard and standardization is an important pillar also of research result exploitation, because if we have standard, obviously it's much better. And we see, for example, the growing the importance of IoT and machine-to-machine and the setting up, for instance, one end-to-end international platform, so that is very important. And not only we need to have standard, but the standard also need to lead to interoperable solutions, which is an important part. The second is to reinforce academic and industrial cooperation on future impact in internet research platform. I think we need also to not only to have more cooperation between researchers, that is very important, but also we need to bring the industry. Because industry is important. At the end, also EU is going to more innovation, more application, which is very important. That is a lot of let's say support and also push for that. And the reason why also Horizon 2020 is mentioning a lot of innovation and mentioning a lot of SMEs. The SMEs are very important also involvement and stakeholders for innovation in the future. So we expect we will find, and I will come in a minute to what we do for that, but it's very important is to facilitate interaction between EU and China and not only the academics but also the industry, which is a challenge, and we will do that. And then finally we have also highlight IPv6, which is very hot and very popular and important topic in China, and is much complex in Europe because there's a lot of fragmentation, a lot of member states, which each member state has a different operator. So it's a topic which is it's complex and also maybe not having the same level of challenge and also the deployment plan. So China is a huge country for IPv6, the biggest in the world, and might experience before Europe, I think, large scale deployment because it's so large. And that is very important to have a win-win and exchange experience between Europe and China for mutual benefit. So it's one of the pillars of that. Just a very quick presentation about the project structure. Not to come to the details, but just to come to the fact that it's not only a European project managed by Europeans. It's already we have EU-China's mixed management. So we have two managers, one European is myself and one is Chinese, should be able to be in the room this morning. And then we can also also have some direct contact, and we also have all the website, the portal in Chinese, and also Chinese contact for managing, so that we ease also the interaction with China. And also we have advisory board, and the advisory board also we have all representatives, some representatives which are also helping us to give more advice. And for each task we have also the co-responsibility between EU and China. What do we do also in terms of the delivery and what we call the target, because it's not just to say, okay, we have a project for just exchanging that without having any very precise outcome. We have already identified very precise key performance indicators and targets. And for instance, in terms of preparation, we have to find 5 common topics of common interest and documented. And like maybe it could be like also what Martin mentioned, also some challenges that could be software-defined network, Internet of Things, 5G, and mobile internet, and we can mention more. We have also, we do 2 interop events, and we also, in terms of standard and interoperability, we also work on 2 very precise, let's say, topics where we organize real interop activities. Might be in IPv6, or might be in NDM, or in NDM. And we did, for instance, an NDM conference in some weeks here in Beijing, so it's a very hot topic in Europe and China, so it's likely to be a topic of interest. And then we will also, through a social network and through a portal, we'll try to involve more, and we expect that we have promised at least 200 participants to be connect together, and hope that we, through efficient and modern tools, will interact. And at the end, in terms of good practice, we'll also document and have a public deliverable about what are the good practice between EU and China, which is what is considered. So we have already to deliver a lot of that. In terms of interoperability standard, we have to identify issues, and I told you that we will work on two cases, and also we might work also on the federation also between EU and China, the federation of test bed, and because we have the Fed for Five project, which is already let's say a master project in Europe to federate all the European test bed, we are wondering how we can now, because there is a federation in China, federation in Europe, how we can have some level of interaction. This is something we'll explore, and maybe go to a standard of federation, because F45 is already standard for federating, and this also an idea. In terms of interoperability topics, we don't know yet, because the project will start, and with the researcher we identify the topics, but because IPv6 is important, it's likely, and because, for example, we have already experience of organizing interop event, in particular, you see the picture, an event was organized late last year on IPv4, IPv6 transition. It is likely that we will also, in one of the regular interop activities between EU and China, we will organize also an event on IPv6. In terms of standard, it's not an exhaustive list, but there is already a lot of, let's say, interaction from Chinese stakeholders and also from European stakeholders on standardization. In particular, for instance, for what we call PDTN, for instance, and also brought to XUT. The CCSA, the China Communication Channel Association, is also very active. And also in NC, we have the NFB, which is also hot topic in the SDN family. But obviously, it's a matter of consideration. And IETF, there are many also the topic of interest, including IPv6, and others also like ONF or OpenFlow and this type of organization also that are very important on social defined radio, which is hot. We keep dealing with them, so we have quite busy work. In terms of how we organize academic and industrial cooperation, we will develop, so thanks to Camille Monti and the experience in Open ICT and the future project for choice, we have already developed some tools that, so we not start from scratch, that already connect social network from Europe and connect social network from China, the LinkedIn in Europe and Weibo in China. So we'll put in place a cooperation portal in bilingual one. So you have to see the link domain name that EU China -5.cn.eu. So we'll have in Chinese, and we'll have a portal that we expect that will stimulate interaction. So we want to have a tool for really giving more information, because although we have already a lot of available information on a day-to-day basis when we discuss with researchers, not everybody is aware about possibility and also the precise involvement in some project. A lot of European test beds are open to everybody. That means also open to Chinese. I think they don't check on the nationality, so that if you want today to work with a smart contender, you can. So we have to document, you have to work, so I think we have to organize interaction and also support by study, by workshop, and we will also do that, and thanks to some kind of follow-up of experience so we capitalize on this experience, and it is very good. So we are very happy to be here with you today in the middle of Open ICT, and we will take this experience into account. In terms of IPv6, we will also do we will document the best practice and also have some very precise activity, like we put in place a root server which was not in place so far. So I think it's an important part that China has also an IPv6 root server. And also there is some ongoing activity very important also to educate. And there is an education program that will be still follow up and more implemented. It's a lot about educating and having a common level of understanding in EU and China in terms of implementing IPv6. What is also exciting, and we try to put in place, that we promise that we will stimulate, not doing because we don't have a better product, but we stimulate the pilot between EU and China on IPv6, and we are quite happy that we are already Orange and China Telecom are volunteering for the pilot. So we have a pilot between the EU and China on IPv6, and with this pilot we also expect that we will also maybe give a chance to, if we have this nice interconnection, maybe to even improve the experience of the experimentation, maybe in the domain of Internet of Things, in the domain of other platforms like using also that. So we have a lot of, let's say, expectation about what we can do with a common pilot that will be put in place in 2026. In addition to the portal that we put in place at the time of this tool to be very active, we will organize a workshop and a large conference, maybe once a year. So one in Europe, one in China, but even because we have a partner, BI, the Beijing International Institute, which is organizing about 10 a minimum of 10 big events every year on very popular topics. And for instance, mentioning the coming SDN in 1 or 2 weeks' time here in Beijing, and also organizing IPv6 and many more. So I think we even expect that we have a lot of opportunity to be active in Europe because of plenty of European important activity. Mentioning, for instance, this future Internet Assembly, where the acronym is called FIA. So there is a FIA every year also in Europe, where there is all the people, in particular IFI and Future Internet, are involved. It's a big time event every year. Next year we'll be in Athens, and we're likely to have a workshop. So we have not only the platform, we have also tools like workshop and events, and we will likely get information, and we will be happy to have you also participating. We have also EU, 4 EU and 4 China advisors, which are also helping us to bring more and to have also independent expertise and advice to us. So we have a good collection of different expertise from Europe, and in particular, for instance, Serge Frida, which is involved, the key expert is the coordinator of One Lab and very involved in most of the five. We have also a person from representing the SDO, like Etsy, for developing organization. And we are also happy to have a Chinese expert, and we have Mrs. Senyan, who will also make a speech later. That also she's an advisor also in our group. We are very happy. And we have a balance also of ministry, our representing MIT, Ministry of Education, and Ministry of Certainty. So happy also to have Mr. Dong coaching also in the group. And also people from China Telecom, for the file, also it's quite important also that we attract this plan and have more. So I think I will not be long into the project because Martin has already presented some projects. So some projects will finish that will be keep going into the phase 4-5, and we have also several opportunities to there are a lot of ongoing and will be still available project. And if you look at ICT.bashfire.eu, you see all the portfolio of FI, and I think we will also consider even new topics like open flow and LV, which is important. The 5 projects, as Martin already mentioned them, so there's a lot. So we expect also that in Europe, I think we have a lot of, let's say, information. We go to the portal, and in China, we collect more and more, but still we don't have a full picture about the potential of China. It will be one of the challenges for us. And I see already my friend who just beside me that we will make a presentation on Xinhua on 5, and we are not aware of this, so we'll be happy to work on that. And so it's very important, and challenge will be to help us. You should help us to document what are the test beds and how we can more document what's going on in China, and we know what's happening in Europe. We can do a global connection. China test bed was mentioning, so Internet Innovation Union is important, also that is operating right in lab, and we have also test bed from the China Academy of Science, which also will work with us, and also test bed from the MIT. So all these test beds together, we expect that we can have a good cooperation. The cooperation platform, I think this is already mentioning the website by. Basically, we need now, because it's a big technique, so we need maybe 2 or 3 months. So I think in October will be in place. The website will be in place before, but the platform itself needs to work some work. And there will be a lot of tools for sharing information, for cooperating, and I hope that you will be all registered to that, and we'll keep going on that. So it's very, very interesting. So that concludes my presentation, Mr. Sheikh.
Excellent, thank you. A nice transition to Mrs. Yan Zen, you misspelled her name, there's a G missing, but that makes you Zen at the same time. Great pleasure to have a high-level representative from the Chinese delegation. Mrs. Yan Zen is the Vice Director of the Network and Information Division at S&T Development Center, Ministry of Education, and Secretary of the Internet Innovation Union. We wish we could have many ladies in Europe like you. We're still looking for them. Very pleased to see so many ladies in this meeting, which we don't have that much in Europe, so we still have to work on the parity from that side. This is it.
Thank you, Philip. Good morning, my dear friends. I'm Yan from Science Technology Development Center, Ministry of Education. I'm also the General Secretary of Internet Innovation Union. It's my pleasure to having this opportunity to share visions about future Internet development with all professors here, as well as introduce Internet Innovation Union, which is a federal project we are working on to support future Internet technology innovative activities. My presentation will be focused on two parts. The first part is about the future Internet research activities and projects globally. And then, in the second part, I'm going to introduce more background information about our Internet Innovation Union. As we know, from ARPANET created in 1959 by USA for military purpose. In 1994, the original Internet architecture was born for commercial operation, which is still in use now. During the near 20 years, Internet has changed our life hugely and promoted technology progress forward dramatically. However, we are also aware that along with the increasing diversified user needs, new technologies and applications emerge. The current Internet architecture is facing big challenge. In order to sustain Internet development, researchers have basically two views concerning Internet future direction. One is called evolution. Evolution route, which is mainly focused on improving our current Internet by adopting IPv6 technology. Another route is known as revolution route, which aims to design and thoroughly different networks rather than merely repairing. Although those two ways seem like different laws, I think it will not be a competition, but a complementary relation to push our Internet upgrading. Also, there are a lot of researchers and projects working on it. Nowadays, key research domains of future Internet are basically wireless and mobility, optical, intelligence, Internet of Things, multi-application support, and security. In particular, the core architecture still focuses on addressing and root technology. Some well-known research new directions. For example, like HIP, LSP, which are for addressing technology, DONA, NDN, for root technology, and also the very hot topic currently, SDN, which aims to develop a new Internet structure. Those innovative researches inspire and excite us. However, we all understand that from any original idea to eventually industry deployment, there must be a very long way to go through. In between, we need to do a lot of work on research, testing, verification, and standardization. With no doubt, those efforts must be experiment-driven and need testbed to support. So the mainstream view believes that testbed should be one of the fundamental elements for future internet research activity. As we know, doing some innovative researches require various types of resources. Depending on any single experiment facility may not be capable. As a result, federal test beds were created and already become important experimental environments across different testing platforms. Here we take Genie and Fire for example. They are very well-known federal testbed projects for future internet research initiated by US and Europe. They aim to establish a resource pool by federating various experiment resources, excluding devices, servers, computing bandwidth, etc., contributed by independent entities, enabling resource sharing and experimentally across the facility. The Genie project from 2005 to present the accumulated funds from US NSF has already exceeded $30 billion. Right now, this project stepped into its spiral 4, began the transition from a rapid prototyping effort to support network research experimentation. For FIRE project, it is funded by EU Program 7 scheme, aimed to support experimentally driven researches for building experiment facility at large and federal scale. In addition, for the sake of better understanding industry development and promote collaboration, FIRE also supports some industry research projects which part coordination and support action. Today, we have many FIRE experts here. Thanks FIRE project giving us this opportunity to sit here together, share views, and look for more cooperation between Europe and China. If we do some studies on those mainstream testbed projects as Genie and FIRE, we may conclude some key features regarding future internet experiment environment. In my opinion, those features include federation, slicing management, control plane, virtualization, programmable, and real traffic. The reason that I stress on those features because the similar projects we are working now in China share the same concept and operation model, which is I'm going to introduce, called Internet Innovation Union. Internet Innovation Union, also called IU, was established in 2012, erected by Center of Science and Technology Development, Ministry of China. Our members consist of universities, institutes, and enterprises. IU's main objective is to promote the sharing of internet experimentation resources, support future internet research and development activities by adopting DragonLab solutions as the control plane. Last year, at the kickoff ceremony, Mr. Frank Greco, who is the first chancellor of the European delegation in Beijing, also attended and introduced FIRE progress. In short words, IU is a future internet research oriented experimental facility overlay CERNET. It is a federal testbed that integrates university network resources at a large scale. It also has the features virtualization, slicing, real traffic data, and programmable. Just now, I mentioned IU adopt DragonLab solution as our control plane. This slide shows how DragonLab works. First, our members contribute their own experiment resources. using DLG, NTC, RCM, which are connection firmware kits developed and produced by Tsinghua University and Ruijie Company to federate and formulate a virtualized resource pool. It enables all users can simply reserve and use this resource in the pool by logging in PLN portal, design topology, run the experiment on demand, and got the result. So far, we are more than 120 Chinese universities joined in IU, and 38 universities have completely interconnected. Resources that number contributed are more than 6,000, including high-end switch, router, server, wireless software, and etc. This is DragonLab. I will show you how to use it. First, login and reservation. You can reserve the resources what you want, and draw the topology and run your own experiment. So, in order to encourage our members to use this facility and stimulate innovation last year, Center of Science and Technology Development, Ministry of China, had awarded 25 universities as IIU demonstrator. This chart here listed some of IIU demonstrators and their research intentions on IIU platform. As you see, like the Tsinghua DUPT, they will research on infrastructure, on federal testbed, and review technologies. Most of demonstrators will also focus on system and application researchers, including banking systems, river management, remote health, and smart cities. In the future, we plan to give more stimulative policies to make our IU community more vivid and innovative. This slide shows the roadmap of IU. Now we already finished the step 1 by creating an open and shared mechanism and build a fundamental test lab facility at a large and federal scale. In the future, we will more stress on standardization work and support more experimentally driven researches on this platform. We hope this platform will integrate some more innovative research and outcomes and become a bridge for international collaboration. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward to more collaboration with you.
Thank you, Mrs. Zhang, for this excellent presentation. We have the discussion session this afternoon, and very pleased to have a very good friend of mine. We know each other for quite a while from the University of